courage. What is courage? We know that on a knowledgeable level, that courage is not when you're not afraid. Courage is when you do something when you're afraid. But where do you get that courage from? You know, maybe you have put a sense of security in money and a sense of security in your ability. But now with the stuff going on, you're like, well, wait a second. What if my bank account goes down to zero? What do you do if that's what happens to you? And you don't know where the next paycheck is going to come. You don't know if you're going to have a job. Right now, the world is facing quite a lot of uncertainty. Many of us, including myself at times, feel like, well, I can have a sense of security in my decision-making processes and my abilities. And sometimes when you're throwing a curveball at life, right now, maybe you're thinking, I can't even trust my own decisions right now. Maybe you have a business partner or a friend that's freaking out. Maybe they're going to be betraying you next week because they're now panicked and they're doing a business decision in not such a healthy mental state right now, making bad decisions morally for employees, for your company, and it feels like they're betraying you or they failed you. What do you do when your business partner or friends betrays you? Some of you have put a sense of security in a loved one. What if that loved one turns around now and says, I'm leaving you? Or the one that you have put such an anchor of confidence in now passes away. What do you do when that loved one that you've put a sense of security in now is not in your life? Where do you go for courage? Where do you look for strength? That's what we're talking about. The strength that you know you don't have. How do we find that strength? What is courage? It is something deeper. And you know, the world will say, well, just look deep within. You know that when that wolf is at your door, that's shallow. It's something more. But where do we find it? For me, in my life, talk about my prison of fear. I didn't want to talk about dreaming or going to the next level or finding someone who's going to motivate me. I'm talking about something deeper. I'm talking about survival. I didn't want to live. I was afraid of life itself. For me, I am blessed to have had a loving home. That when my dad found out from my brother that I'm planning on committing suicide at a certain age, I was crying and he came by my bedside and he put his fingers through my hair. He said, son, don't give up. Don't worry. We're here for you. It's going to be okay. For me, it was understanding that he couldn't fix my problem. My parents were not the focus of what I had to focus on because they couldn't help me. They couldn't understand how I felt. They loved me though, and I loved them. And it was actually that. It was that which is deeper, a conviction of knowing to hold on to the good of the love that we have for each other, the good in knowing that it is good to believe in hope, that despite what we see, despite what we feel, to love ourselves to a point to give our future a chance. It was deeper. It was something more. It wasn't dependent on a person or a thing to come in my way to make everything better. And again, I had to focus on conviction in 2011, later on in my life, where I had a personal financial crisis in January 2011, where it felt like all these dominoes just started falling around me. I was doing too much. I was traveling too much. I was on burnout, just on the brink of burnout, traveling the world, and now all of a sudden, every project that I put my hands on failed. And I lost all my money. Interestingly enough, I met my wife the year before and we started dating. My future wife saw me 12 weeks into our relationship. Nick, the motivational speaker. Nick, the one who travels the world to tell other people to conquer their fear. Here I am like a baby, guys. Like a baby. I couldn't even talk. For 30 days, I had panic attacks. For 30 days, I didn't want to see anybody. And when I could finally tell Kanae, hey babe, I lost all my money, she said, don't worry, I'm not going anywhere. I'll get a nursing job and support the both of us. And I'm thinking, who is this woman? I want to marry her. Talk about going through ups and downs of life and true love shining through. It's not that she said, oh, I understand, baby. Oh, don't worry, I'll make everything better. It was that true love that she had for me. It was the true love that I knew I had for her. It was the focus, again, not on a person, not on a thing or a circumstance to change. It was the conviction of the greater good, the greater love, the true love of believing in oneself and each other. She reminded me of my calling. She helped me to focus back on my dream. I was born to be a speaker. I was born to go and plant seeds of hope and love through books, through a short film, through music videos, however I can. Nick was born to go and try change one other person's life. I was born to be a world-class communicator to help people break free of their prison. Maybe you need to dig deep within and not put your faith or a hope in a circumstance to change, but it's in the love and the passion of your dream and your greater calling. You know you were destined for something greater. Maybe you need to dig deep within your faith to find that as well. This is not going to define you. This is not, whether it's a failure in a business, failure is not a status, it's the process. And in this process, you need courage to keep on going. But it comes from the conviction that this is not the yet. I will push through. I will learn from this. I will get through this wiser, stronger, more sober-minded, more proactive. Find that conviction. When you look at family and people, it's wonderful to know and discover love. Maybe some of you don't have that in your life right now. Maybe you feel like you have nothing to find, to hold on to. Well, that's why I'm speaking to you right now. You see, I tell people all the time, you don't need courage to win. If you're doing something for the first time and it happens the first time, I can tell you it's not really then a significant thing, because if it's easy, then it's not significant. We're talking about life issues. We're talking about winning in life. We're talking about joy, peace, love, hope, purpose. We're talking about the success of the soul and spirit in our mind. To live a life without limits is living a life with conviction. And to live a life of conviction gives you the courage to fail. Because we are going to fail. We will sometimes lose jobs. We may even lose our home. We may lose loved ones. We may get betrayed by people that we thought we could trust. But the conviction is what spurs us on. The conviction of a purpose and a love for something that's worth failing for, that's worth suffering for, that's worth sacrificing for, that's worth pushing through for. You will find your conviction. You will find that strength to open that door and roar back in the face of this wolf. My friends, find your conviction that will give you the courage to open up the bars and break through your prison of every fear. You won't always feel courageous, but you can feel convicted. And we said last episode, it takes 30 days to form a habit, so most of us are still in the part of that journey. But as we continue double downing on our discipline and maintaining these new routines, we're going to begin looking at another natural part of this process. Ready? Rejection. Yeah, I hate that word, rejection. Today, I'm going to address something that many of you are probably facing right now. You've probably faced it several times before, and you're probably going to face it several times again. We all get rejected in life. No matter where you are, no matter what you're doing, life somehow has a way of handing out a lot of no's before it gives you a yes. So today we're going to be talking about the best ways to navigate through the rejections in our life. As you're stepping out into the world, maybe for a new job, a new relationship, a new you, you're going to face obstacles. No, let me rephrase that. To be a little bit more blunt, you are going to face rejection. If you're trying to get a new job, let's say you're one of the millions of people who just got laid off. Your company just went under. Your business just isn't picking back up. And so now you're in a place where you need to get a job. Let me tell you right now, as someone who has been around the world in a lot of rooms with a lot of people in a lot of different industries, you are going to be told no by someone for something you're completely qualified for. I'm sorry, but you will. You're going to be rejected from something that you know you can do, that maybe you've already done, something that you have the skills for and the focus for and the passion for doing. And regardless of the fact you're absolutely qualified for it, it doesn't matter. You will get a no. Why am I saying this? Sounds pretty negative, really harsh. My friends, I'm saying it because it's actually real. We know sometimes life ain't fair. Look at Walt Disney and how long it took him before he could sell a single cartoon. Look at the famous athletes who had to try out again and again and again before any team would take them. Look at the famous actors and writers who had to struggle and work multiple jobs to pay rent because no one wanted their work. See, my friends, being qualified for something does not immediately equate to being hired for it. And that's an important thing to know and to understand right now as you begin navigating this stormy season.